thinking about that, and I was thinking that I think we're all born being artists. I I always been an artist, and since I remember, since I'm a little kid, I always drew and I always painted with whatever I have near me. My mom was a teacher, so I used to go with her to her when she needed to do classes, and I will just grab the chalk and draw while entertain myself at home with like pencils, color pencils, or whatever I have at hand. But I was realizing that I don't think this is just my case. I think it's the case of all kids. We are all born artists. And I think we just decide at one point in our lives if we want to pursue that as a career, or we want to like drive our creativity into being artists or being scientists or being finance people, you know, like I think, so I don't think I think I was born an artist, as most of children are, but yet it was a point in my life that I definitely decided to pursue that. And I think it was brought to my attention by a teacher that it was possible, because before for me it was just a hobby. It was something that I just enjoy, that it was just playfulness. And a teacher of mine was just like, oh, this is art. I'm like, this is art? Oh, I'm an artist? Like, for me, it was just something so big to be called an artist, and something that needed to be earned. And to like just being called an artist for me was just from somebody that I also admire so much, that I was on just in awe. So from that moment and on, I just started considering to do it more like with more thought, and to get to do more challenging things. And but it's been that since that moment, I'm talking maybe when I was 16 years old, that I like really consider this. I've had my moments of being like, no, I'm not enough to be an artist. Or yes, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm like, everybody can do it. Or I have moments when I'm just like, I'm not gonna take it that seriously, so I can enjoy it. And but at the end, it's always there, and it's always being a passion of mine. And I think I just can't deny it. I am an artist.
Well, luckily for us, you did decide to pursue it, and you've done so many different kinds of projects that you've worked on for musicians. That you've done album design, even a set design. And I think I read that you were working on a project with textiles. So how did you go from all these different kinds of artwork and then to illustrating a children's book?
That's the beauty of being an artist. You can do anything you want, and it's just to be brave to say yes, even if you haven't done it. So the first time Valerie told me, like, you know, I have this story, will you be interested in illustrating a children's book? I never done one. I have no idea what was the process, but I read the story, I fell in love with it, and I say yes. And I think that's a big thing in life, just to take risk and learn in the process. And I think part of it is that when you don't know how the process should be, something different comes out of it. Because I come from a different medium, so maybe I don't do a kid's book that way other people do kids' book. And I think that adds some value, because it has my voice in it. So
I was just going to show some of the illustrations while you're talking, so people have an idea of what kind of artwork you do.
At the beginning, when I started drawing, I didn't know where to start, like, because it's different than when I pursue arts, right? Like when I have an idea of something I want to do specifically, and this time I'm like, I don't even have a voice as an illustrator. But one day I sat down, I have one of my cousins, she's a very good friend too. She was like, I can see it. I can see like traveling the world and give it love to all the kids. Just like sit down and focus. And I did. I sat down in my backyard, put all my watercolors, put the music on repeat, which probably my neighbors did not appreciate that day. and start drawing. and I started drawing what I was seeing, that mystical, that magic of her, the colors, like that she just owns, because you see her and she's colorful and happy and mystical and magical. And so I started drawing, and I think when I finished, I was like, I don't think I could do something different, because this is me. Like, even if I tried to recreate somebody's style, or if I tried to do something different, what came out, it was just my voice and what I felt. And I was so scared to send it to her, because we're good friends, and I was like, what if she doesn't like it? Like, how is she gonna tell me, well, I'm gonna go with another illustrator? And I was gonna see her that day, and like later for I think it was summer, for a barbecue at her house. And I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. And I click send. And I was like, those minutes that feel like an eternity. And I waited, and luckily she responded fast. And she was so happy. And I think we were connected in the way that she felt this, that I captured what she really wanted to explain. And it luckily for me, we never had a back and forth. Like, she loved all the illustrations. I was able to surprise her with little details here and there, like all the characters in the book are her family, her real family. So one day, out of the blue, I asked her if she could send me a few photos. She's like, sure, like a little like, why does she want photos of my family? But I wanted to get inspiration. And so the mom, it's actually the mom, which is a rock star. She was with us in the tour. And the grandma, it's real grandma, and she was able to see the book before it was published, and she couldn't believe it, what she was in the book. She died last year, but she was able to see it, which is very, very special, and I feel so happy she was. And so everybody in the book is as close as it could be to the story. And I felt so happy I was able to, because I wanted to honor her family. I wanted to honor the story. And I just think it's a beautiful story of inspiration, of struggles too, but also of joy and believing and dreaming.
It is, and it's a beautiful book. And I love that the collaboration you're talking about, because I was really curious about that, because I know you two are close, and it seems like because you know her so well, like you were really able, like you said, you were really able to capture her personality and kind of what she was wanting, how she was wanting to convey the story, because you already know her, so you guys have that kind of that same vibe, you know, that you were able to pick up on, and to add all those details, like her actual family. I use them as inspiration from the story. That's so wonderful. Was it and I'm also, it's pretty unusual, I think, not to have a lot of back and forth, because I hear from other illustrators that often they get feedback and you have to make changes and this and that. And so it sounds like that you guys didn't really have to go through
we're
that
so
process.
lucky in that way. Like, I'm like, even like, for example, she owns a pair of red boots that she loves, so I will add those red boots to like the little kid, you know. Like, I know, yeah, I know the colors of her, even I feel like I know the colors of her soul. and I like put all of that in the book. Like, this book could not have other colors, and it needed to be colorful like her. And it was just, that part was so easy and so fulfilling too, because she always loved it, and she like sometimes would say like, I want to cry, and I would just hug each other. What we did have though, and this is not like, because nothing is easy, and we did make the book, and we make the whole book of her as a grown-up, because we both are not have kids, and I think we were not familiar with children's books. So the story is about how she got one night and got inspired, and this baby banjolele wanted to sing, right? And it's, for us, it's a story of inspiration, and how inspiration strikes you, and the same way it strikes me as an artist. Like some days I'm in the middle of the night and I have an idea and I have to wake up and do it. So we connected in that way. And so for us, it was like so easy. And we're like, you know what, we're gonna do it. We actually pitched it to a few publishers and we got rejections. And so not everything was easy, right? Like we got a lot of rejections. They told us like some music books don't sell and not that great. And we were a little sad and we both cry on separate ways. But we said like, you know what, let's do it. Let's just do it ourselves. Let's finish the book. So I went on, I don't know how many days, didn't stop drawing. I know every detail on her face by now. And we finished the whole book, but she was a grown up. So then we show it to a friend of us, Emily, and she's like, you know what? It's beautiful, but I don't know many books that the main character is a grown-up. When they're for kids. And we're like, oh, that's so true. So when finally we got our partner in this, which is Thurman Records, and we're so thankful because they're amazing. We needed to make that change to make her a kid. So even though we didn't have changes in the anything of the artwork, any art direction and all of that, everything, the three of us were aligned of what we wanted of it. I did have to go back to a drawing board and that was a good lesson. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good feedback. It's funny how, yeah, well, I'm sure as you move forward, if you guys are going to be doing more books together, then you'll have more experience and also the feedback you've been getting as you've been going around. If anybody is not following Marcela on Instagram, you really should, because she and Valerie have been posting these wonderful photos and videos from being on tour together. What kind of feedback have you gotten as you've been going around and sharing the book now? Because it launched,
November, yes.
Was it November?
We launched in November. Look, we've had so much love from it, to be honest. It's been wonderful. The best part has been like to be touring the schools, and the kids are the best. They give us the best feedback and the best questions. Like they've asked us, what's our next book? And we even got some ideas. One of the kids told us that our next book should be about our adventures, which I think is a great idea. Then so I think that's great feedback. They ask us, like some kids are amazing, like talented too, and they said like what kind of materials do I use, if I use graphite or charcoal. Yeah, like they're so smart. And then one kid, I was amazed because some grown-ups don't even notice this about the book, but all the characters have white hair. And this was an artistic direction, I did it on purpose. And it was something I had to fight for at the beginning. So even, yeah, the little kids, all of them have white hair. So one kid was like, so why do I all have white hair? So I'm like, well, I wanted to make them ageless. I want you to imagine the color of their hair. Like, we don't need to add more to that. You can imagine that. And the kid was like, huh. And then the kid told Valerie, he's like, I thought I was throwing a hard one to her. But the kids are so great. Then I learned another thing from this other kid. Is like, what's your favorite color? And I was like, well, I think my favorite color is blue. What's yours? Like rainbow. I'm like, you know, it's just like, it blows your mind. So I think we've got so much love of it. I'm still in that high of it, that I just even get hugs from the kids. I get high fives. The other day we had an event here in Brooklyn, and we have this little frame like the dreamers, and you can draw your dream and manifest your dream and take it home with you. And this little kid drew mine and drew me as a queen, and I just love it, you know, like it's just so wonderful. Like we get and kids are just like, you know, I because I work with all kinds, right? You work in the corporate work, and you work in the art world, and you work with clients and well, and grown-ups. And sometimes we forget all that innocence and all that nonsense, and they're just so pure. Like one kid was to Valerie, like, "Do you think you're gonna be famous?" Or what was another funny one? I don't know. I need to start writing this down because we're gonna forget them. Oh yeah, it's like, how does it feel to appear in a book?
I love it. Definitely
They're
write these down.
priceless
Those are
for
priceless.
sure. So it's the most gratifying thing. And so the feedback I've got is more like, I think, about the process. I would definitely do the process differently. Would not go ahead and do a whole book. We'll only do a few pages and pitch it first. And I will do definitely the process in another. Yeah, not that, like, we were just so desperate to have this out in the world because we have so much love for this book that we just like, why cannot just be in the world, you know? But I think things take time, and sometimes we just need to be patient and wait until the pace of the world.
Which must be hard, especially as an artist, because you talked about having that inspiration, and when inspiration hits, you want to create and have it out in the world, and the book publishing process is not like that.
And the artwork is not like that. So, and I'm not that patient. So I think that's one of the lessons I have to learn in this life. And yes, that is a good one. And I think to sometimes maybe that's why I work on so many things at the same time, because you put a little time on this, and it's like, you know, another good friend, Anne-Marie, told me, she's like, think of it as a plant. You put the seed, you would put it there, and you let it grow. Step out and let it grow. Focus on other things. And I feel like some of the projects I have around me are a little bit like that. You can't just focus on, like, I cannot just watch the book until it happens, you know, because it doesn't work like that, even as much as you want it to.
Well, speaking of the projects, because
Yes.
I was just looking at the time, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to give you a chance to talk about the Artruist before you go, because that is such a great project that you've been doing, this nonprofit. Can you tell us some more about that?
So the Artruist is another one of my babies, and that was because as an artist sometimes in this crazy world we live in, I was like, how do I help? I just paint. Like, how do I help the world if I just have like this brush? And like, I'm not a politician or I'm not a doctor. I don't save lives. And one day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sell my prints, and whatever I get out of my prints, I'm gonna donate to causes I care. And then time passes, and I start doing that, and then time passes, and I'm like, wait a minute, maybe there's other artists there that are in the same page than I am. So that's how the Artruist came to life. And right now we're 10, but we're trying to grow, and the ideas keep coming, and hopefully we'll have a show. And one day we'll be many, many more, and we can donate a little more than we are now, but at least that little bit, it was not there before. So it's another seed that is planted there, and hopefully it'll become a big tree one day.
I'll be somebody.